All right, so Google Shopping ads. We're diving deep today. It looks like you've been digging into this stuff, huh? Got articles, notes, even this pasted text thing you sent over. Definitely seems like you're past the basics here, going for the advanced stuff.
Oh, you've definitely done your homework. And yeah, from what I see, you're laser focused on a super key element, the product feed.
For sure, for sure. It's like, they say don't judge a book by its cover. Well, it's kind of like Google can't judge a product by its well.
Non-existent description. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to give Google that deep understanding of what you're actually selling. And that's where having a really powerful product feed makes all the difference. Think of it like it's your product's spokesperson,
Yeah.
eloquently explaining all those important details to those Google algorithms.
Okay, I like that. So it's way more than just keywords these days. It's all the nitty-gritty in the feed itself.
100%. And that paste to text you've got, it actually dives into some really important ones. Like take product type versus Google product category. Two terms that seem similar, but man, they trip people up all the time.
Ugh, yeah. I've totally been guilty of using those interchangeably myself. What's the difference, really?
It's almost like speaking two totally different languages, at least to Google. Product type, that's your language. It's how you categorize products on your own website, your own system. But Google product category, that's Google's language. Their specific system, you got to be fluent in both to really be understood.
So speaking Google's language is key. Makes sense.
Right. And even within that language, there are nuances, like you highlighted titles and structured titles in your notes. These aren't just some random formalities, they're prime real estate. You got to grab that shopper's attention. It's the difference between a boring product display and one that makes someone stop and say, whoa, what's that?
Got to stand out in those search results for sure.
Exactly. And speaking of standing out, your pasted text mentions this fascinating concept, zombie products.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that one caught my eye. A little spooky. What are zombie products?
It's a bit of industry jargon, but it basically means those product listings that are, for all intents and purposes, invisible, not attracting clicks, not driving sales,
Yeah.
just existing, like
Yeah.
zombies.
The lost potential. The bane of every seller's existence, I swear. So how do we banish these zombie products back to the graveyard of irrelevant search results?
Ah, now that's where it gets interesting. Your pasted text hints at some pretty advanced tactics here, like data analysis for one, and even something called Google Ads scripts.
Google Ad scripts. Okay, that sounds intense. What are those exactly?
Think of them like, I don't know, automated ninjas working behind the scenes your campaigns. They can actually help you identify those zombie products, adjust bids, and optimize your campaigns on a level that would honestly make your head spin if you tried to do it all manually.
Okay, now I'm really interested. So data analysis and these Google Ad scripts are key to fighting off the zombie products. But there's another really crucial point you marked up in this document. It's not just about getting the click right.
You got it. That's where so many people miss the boat. A click is great, but it's meaningless if it doesn't turn into a sale. We need to think about that whole customer journey.
Right, what happens after they click that ad? And I see you highlighted schema in this context. I've heard that term, but honestly, it's a bit of a mystery to me. What's the deal with schema?
Think of schema markup, kind of like a universal translator, but for your website and Google. It helps Google understand exactly what's on your product pages with crystal clear clarity. That way, what someone sees in your ad perfectly matches what they find on your site.
So it's about creating that smooth, seamless experience.
Exactly. If your ad promises, say, a sleek, red leather handbag, and they click through and land on a page that clearly shows that exact product with detailed descriptions, images, the works, they're much more likely to hit that buy button. Schema helps you actually deliver on those promises.
Schema, like a secret code for our websites.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay, but besides that, you've also pointed out a couple of other, well, kind of sneaky things that can really make or break a Google Shopping ads campaign. Policy compliance and pricing.
For sure. It's kind of like navigating a minefield. One wrong step and boom, your ad is disapproved. Or even worse, you end up on Google's bad side.
Yikes. Okay, so policy compliance, I get it. Got to play by the rules. No funny business there.
Mm.
But pricing, that's interesting. It's not just about setting a price and hoping to the best.
Not even close. Your pasted text, it actually goes deep on this, which is cool. It's not even just about being competitive. It's about really understanding how the price you set impacts your visibility and your bottom line.
So what's the takeaway? Should we be stalking our competitors' prices every 5 minutes?
Well, I mean, keeping a close eye never never hurts. But really, what your pasted text gets at is the power of using data to make smart pricing decisions. There are tools out there that can track your competitors' prices practically in real time, and some can even adjust your bids for you to make sure you're staying competitive.
Now that's working smarter, not harder.
Yep.
Okay, but even with the absolute perfect price, we still need people to actually, buy the product. And speaking of buying, you highlighted a section here about cart data, or CWCD. Sounds kind of technical. What's the big deal with this data?
Okay, so imagine CWCD is like having X-ray vision into your customer's shopping cart, right? You see not only what they bought, but also everything else they were thinking about adding. Like imagine knowing that people who bought those red leather handbags we talked about, they often tossed in a matching wallet too.
See, that's gold. We can use that. Target some ads, maybe bundle some products for a promotion. I like it.
Exactly. CWCD opens up a whole new level of understanding how people really shop. And actually, speaking of understanding your audience, the pasted text also talks about the power of segmentation.
Right, right. I saw that. Segmentation that's dividing up your audience into specific groups, yeah. Instead of just blasting everyone with the same ad and hoping something sticks.
Exactly. And what's cool is your document emphasizes going beyond just basic demographics. Segment by purchase history, browsing behavior, even the actual keywords people use in their searches. It's about tailoring those Google Shopping ads to hit the right people at the right time with the right message.
Right, right. Okay, so we've covered a lot. Importance of the product feed, that whole customer journey thing, even navigating those tricky policies and pricing strategies. Oh, and don't forget those zombie products. But it seems like it all boils down to getting those campaigns optimized, running smoothly. And that's where stuff like bidding and budget come into play, right?
100%. Your pasted text actually had some really insightful points about those too, which often get overlooked, honestly. It's not enough to just set a daily budget and peace out. You really got to understand the different bidding strategies and how they work with your big picture goals.
Okay, yeah, break that down for me a bit. What are
Oh.
some bidding strategies someone might want to think about for those Google Shopping ads?
Well, your pasted text brings up a couple of them. There's maximize clicks. Pretty straightforward, right? You're basically telling Google, get me as many clicks as you can within the budget you set. Good for visibility, brand awareness.
Yeah, yeah, get those eyes on your product. What else we got?
Then you've got target ROAS, which stands for return on ad spend. This one's all about telling Google how much actual revenue you want to make for every dollar you spend on those ads.
Oh, okay, so if I'm laser focused on a solid return on my investment, target ROAS is the way to go. It's like, hey, Google, make my money work for me.
You got it. It's definitely more strategic, less about just clicks and more about actual profit. Honestly, the key with all of this is figuring out which bidding strategy really lines up with your specific goals.
Right, right. Makes sense. Now, before we wrap things up, one more thing I wanted to hit on. You mentioned earlier how Google Shopping ads are kind of part of this bigger, well, ecosystem.
Yeah.
Can you explain that a little more?
Totally. It's easy to get lost in the weeds with all the technical stuff about Google Shopping ads, but at the end of the day, they're really just one piece of the puzzle. I mean, think about it. Someone might find your product through a shopping ad, right? But then they might head over to your website, check out your social media, read some reviews, compare prices, all that, before they actually buy anything.
Right, it's a journey. Our Google Shopping ad is just that first step.
Exactly. So we got to make sure that whole journey from start to finish is smooth, engaging, all of that. That means having a website that's easy to use, product descriptions that really hook people, high quality pictures, maybe even sprinkle in some customer testimonials while you're at it.
It's all connected. Got to give people a consistent experience across all those different touch points.
100%. And that's why even with all the amazing tech out there these days, you still need that human element, the strategic thinking, the creativity, being able to see those connections, the big picture, and adapt your approach as you go.
And that kind of brings us full circle back to what you were saying before about having that expert knowledge. Sometimes you need another set of eyes, someone who really gets all the ins and outs of Google Shopping ads and how they fit into that bigger picture.
Absolutely. It's like having, I don't know, a seasoned guide when you're navigating a really complex and constantly changing world. They can help you sidestep those landmines, avoid those costly mistakes, and ultimately reach your goals faster.
It's that combo of human expertise and powerful tech that really gets those amazing results. Well, you've definitely given us a ton to think about today. We've covered so much ground, the nitty-gritty of those product feeds, the importance of the customer journey. Any final words of wisdom for our listeners out there before we wrap things up?
Just this. Never stop experimenting. Never stop learning. The Google Shopping ads landscape is always changing, so stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay ahead of the game.
Love it. Knowledge is power. And hey, armed with all the insights from this deep dive, I'd say you're well on your way to absolutely crushing those Google Shopping ads campaigns.
I think so too.
And on that note, we'll let you get back to it. Until next time, happy optimizing, everyone.